welcome to the Brock of the Buzzard podcast. I'm your host, Brock Kowalski. Season 4, Episode 2 includes Bills Chiefs, the Bills injury report following Bills Chiefs, and the trade deadline, which has come and gone for the Buffalo Bills, along with the Oklahoma City Thunder's 7-0 start. They look to go 8-0 this evening in LA, and recapping an epic World Series. All coming up here on the Brock of the Buzzard podcast. And welcome back to the Brock of the Buzzard podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Brock Kowalski. And to get started on today's show, I also want to let you guys know that I apologize that I haven't posted one of these in a very long time. But we're back. And also, please follow me on all my social media platforms and a Linktree link down below in the description. And let's get right to it, because we've got a long show, as I stated in the open. Bills play best game of the season against Chiefs. Going into Sunday's game against the Buffalo Bills arch rival, Kansas City Chiefs, Bills Mafia being concerned was an understatement, as questions were abound, as the repeated question of the wide receiver position still remains to this day, I must say. The passing attack. The Bills' secondary were among them, and the Bills answered some of those questions, but not all of those questions, such as the passing game that I'll describe to you in a short little while. And the Bills' secondary came up massive in this one for Buffalo. From the outset, the Buffalo Bills controlled the entire game, getting a touchdown early via Josh Allen to Dalton Kincaid. And from there, the Buffalo Bills had complete control, even with the Kansas City Chiefs kind of staging a late rally, but it was not enough, as the Buffalo Bills get their sixth win of the season and improved to 6-2, beating the Kansas City Chiefs 28-21 Sunday at Highmark Stadium. Who led the charge? Let's start off with this young man, Cole Bishop. Cole Bishop, you deserve your flowers, brother. You played your best game as a pro. Point blank, there's been nothing better on him so far in the NFL than this past Sunday. Deflecting passes, making big play after big play in the secondary, including batting away Patrick Mahomes' first or second, I can't remember which, Hail Mary attempt to Tyquan Thornton in the end zone at the end of the fourth quarter. And if Bishop, and as well as Maxwell Harrison, who had his first career NFL interception on Sunday in just his second week of action, if this continues from these two young players, the Buffalo Bills defense is in a lot better position, not only for the rest of this season, but for many, many years to come. Another standout performance for the Bills defense was led by Joey Bosa. Bosa had pressure after pressure, hurry after hurry, other than the 4th and 16, of course, but we're not going to talk about that one because Bosa got fooled. Everyone saw it on national TV on Sunday on CBS. He got fooled by Patrick Mahomes. That happens. When you're playing against the probably First or second, I don't care what you say. The top two quarterbacks were featured in this game, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. No matter which way you slice it, the two best quarterbacks in the NFL do that to you. They trick you. They make you make stupid mistakes. And on that 4th and 16, Joey Bosa made a stupid mistake, but he made up for it later by getting a crucial sack late and continuing to pressure Mahomes all day long. It did not stop, people. And for the Bills to have that presence now without Michael Hoyt, unfortunately, for the remainder of the season. More on him in just a minute. But if the Buffalo Bills have that pressure week after week after week after week, without Ed Oliver, without Michael Hoyt, I'll take that any day of the week. And the pressures, the hurries, etc., the sacks, etc., led to Patrick Mahomes' worst career passer rating in a game at just 44%. And Joey Bosa was a massive reason why on Sunday. And now onto the offense. Of course, you got to start with Josh Allen, who played his best game since week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens, going a very impressive. In fact, a Buffalo Bills franchise record, 23 of 26, which equates to 89% passer rating, which is a Bills record, totaling 292 total yards and 3 total touchdowns. Looking like Josh of 2024, which this team will need for the remainder of the season if they hope to lift that Lombardi Trophy in February. James Cook, another solid game from him as he continues to be the bell cow of the Buffalo Bills running attack. As he what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, live podcast, this happens. He rushed, thank you, for another 100-plus yard game, equaling 114 yards on a solid 28 attempts. And lastly, Dalton Kincaid, despite playing just 23% of the snaps, which in my opinion is unacceptable considering with Josh Palmer out, Kincaid's your only deep threat on this team. Hopefully he returns this week. More on his status going into the week as the Buffalo Bills practice tomorrow as they head to Miami Sunday against the Miami Dolphins. This podcast is being recorded on the Tuesday prior to that game. So for those of you who watched this podcast a little later, this is when it's being recorded. To be specific, it is being recorded on November 4th, 2025. But Dalton Kincaid played just 23% of the offensive snaps on Sunday. Despite that, he totaled 6 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown, showing, as I just said, Kincaid, until Josh Palmer returns, which is hopefully this week, from the sounds of it, there's a decent chance of it happening for Buffalo. Kincaid's the only deep threat. And Joe Brady kind of blamed himself for Kincaid's low snap count, as he said essentially that those snap counts will improve as we move forward, because Kincaid clearly made a statement and a solid impression on his offensive coordinator, Joe Brady. And now the injury report for the Buffalo Bills. The good news, they only lost one player. So, considering all the guys that were listed as out on Sunday that are normally starters, including defensive tackle Daquan Jones, cornerback Teron Johnson, wide receiver Josh Palmer, and linebacker Shaq Thompson, will all practice in some capacity this week, starting Wednesday, according to head coach Sean McDermott, as he stated this yesterday, Monday, November 3rd. On the bad side of things, Sean McDermott confirmed what we all knew when it happened. Standout linebacker Michael Hoyt has torn his left Achilles, that's correct by me, his left Achilles, and is out for the remainder of the season. A devastating loss for the Buffalo Bills. And what does that mean? I'll tell you right now as we dive into the Buffalo Bills trade deadline. A lot of people are probably wanting to shoot Brandon Beane in the skull. I'm just going to say it bluntly. But nothing happened, and I think I know why. Whether you like it or not, this is what I believe the Buffalo Bills' thinking is. So here it is. They know that Josh Palmer will return this week. They know that. Nobody else does but them. Sean McDermott said he would practice it in some capacity. I think the fact they did not go out and get a wide receiver today has a lot to do with Josh Palmer's status moving forward. And the fact they believe and know that he can be a downfield threat, a much needed downfield threat for this passing offense. And the second reason why the Buffalo Bills didn't get a wide receiver was I really believe, and this is no joke, you may think it is, but I don't. They must believe that Gabe Davis will make an impact on this team some way, somehow. It just feels that way. And again, Gabe Davis provides another deep or a long field threat for this passing offense, again, which really doesn't have one outside of Josh Palmer, Dalton Cade. You need more than just one or two. 3 is fantastic. And Gabe Davis provided that when he was here before and will be expected to do the same. The only reason why he didn't play last week was he got hurt in practice prior to the Chiefs game. That's just my personal opinion. And Sean McDermott even mentioned him in his press conference yesterday when a reporter asked him what is his status looking like, because all of us in Buffalo who follow the team, who know what's going on with the team, know that Gabe Davis is in fact in the Buffalo Bills' plans moving forward. He just is. Whether you like it or not, he is. So, McDermott also said yesterday that Davis will practice in some capacity. Even though he's not on the active roster just yet, he will be before the end of the season. You can mark it down in black and white Sharpie. As long as he stays healthy, he will be on the active roster come playoff time. I firmly believe that. I believe that was their plan with him all along anyways. When they brought him back, when he got released from Jacksonville and had to place him on practice squad IR because of his knee injury he suffered last year in Jacksonville. And on the defensive side of the ball, I think Jordan Phillips and rookie Dwayne Walker showed the Bills enough to say, they just showed us against one of the best teams that we're going to play all season long that these two can handle it in here. And mind you, that is without Daquan Jones. Yes, and Oliver, missing him really sucks. But Dwayne Walker, in particular, has done nothing but step up and do his job on that line since the rash of injuries to that position room has occurred. And I don't expect him to do anything else but step up and continue to impress, which he has so far this season. And when it comes to defensive end, I think the Bills just know firmly that they have to give rookie defensive end Landon Jackson, who they selected in the third round of this past year's draft. They need to give him a chance. Yeah, is it the time you really want to? Probably not. But you're down your Swiss Army knife defensive end in Michael Hoyt for the season, so you have no choice. And another reason why the Buffalo Bills didn't make any moves, it's pretty simple. Their cap situation sucks. Let's be blunt. The cap situation is horrid. And they didn't want to jeopardize anything going into next year, etc., etc., etc. And that makes sense to some degree, in my opinion. But, again, that's just the Bills' reality. As a matter of fact, we know they talked to multiple teams. We know the Bills called about Chris Olave, according to Diana Rossini of The Athletic. The Bills, probably in those same conversations, talked about Rashid Shaheed from New Orleans, who got dealt today to the Seattle Seahawks. Jacoby Myers, we know they talked. Diana reported the same thing. He went to Jacksonville today. And I think if Jacksonville lost to Las Vegas on Sunday, I think their position on buying at the deadline would be polar opposite. We know the Buffalo Bills called about Deebo Samuel. From 2 o'clock on, the only wide receiver name you kept hearing on Bills Twitter was Deebo Samuel, Deebo Samuel, Deebo Samuel, Deebo Samuel, from multiple different sources. And let me just put this out in the open. Diana Rossini from The Athletic also stated in the Jets mixed of their absolute fire sale today, trading their all-pro defensive tackle Quentin Wilson to the Dallas Cowboys for a slew of assets, and trading cornerback Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts for a slew of assets, and wide receiver A.D. Mitchell. The Bills had to call about Garrett Wilson, right? They had to have. New England probably called about Garrett Wilson. They had to have, right? The Buffalo Bills had to have called about Jalen Waddle, right? They had to call about Bradley Chubb, right? But does any team within the same division trade with fellow division opponents besides the Cleveland Browns that are an utter dumpster fire still to this day, as they traded Joe Flacco of all people to the Cincinnati Bengals? Other than that, I have not seen an in-division trade in a very long time. So I'm not surprised, even though Miami had pieces to sell off, New York clearly sold pieces off, I'm not surprised they didn't end up in Bills uniforms. And I'm also not surprised that Brian Thomas Jr. did not end up in a Bills uniform either. Maybe after the season, because they need Brian Thomas, because Travis Hunter is likely, I'm going to say likely, out for the season with a knee injury. Because no other report has stated other than missing a lengthy amount of time, which in my estimation means that Hunter is out for the season. Which is why, in turn, they traded for Jacoby Myers today. Because they won and are still in firm playoff contention in the AFC. Because the AFC is wide friggin' open. It still is. The teams that the Bills are competing with, also for the 1 seed, New England, Indy, other than Indy, Denver, those teams made a combined one move. one move, and that was the Sauce Gardner trade to Indianapolis. So the teams that the Buffalo Bills are competing with didn't do anything either. So to be all gung-ho, mad about Brandon Beane not doing anything, look at yourself and think insightfully. Connect the dots a little bit before you go on WGR, Twitter, and just rant and embarrass yourself. Just a little piece of advice. Because Brandon Beane hears it. He sees it. Because every GM has a burner on X. Every single one does. Guarantee it. Every single GM listens to their local media, local radio especially, driving in to the field house every day. Connect the dots, people. Don't go on Jeremy and Joe, Show Up in the Bulldog, etc., and embarrass yourself. Don't do it. Because you have to connect the dots before you just spew all this nonsense to public airwaves that your GM is probably hearing with his own two ears and is probably laughing in your face. Just like he did when we all called him out for his wide receivers or lack thereof. All he did was hoot and holler and laugh in our faces. Because that's what they all do. So I just laid it out for you, people. Listen to me. I beg of thee. Listen to me. I'm trying to plead. Do not go on X, WGR, Facebook, Instagram. It doesn't matter. Don't embarrass yourself. Please. Don't embarrass yourself and connect my dots. Because my dots in my head make sense. That's exactly why the Buffalo Bills did not make a move this afternoon. Because the price was either too high or all the teams that were selling off were within division. You're telling me the Buffalo Bills didn't call the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, the Washington Commanders, the Cincinnati Bengals? Do you really think that Brandon Beane sat there with his thumb up his rear end for the last 3-4 weeks even? You think he doesn't know the wide receiving core is a deficiency on his team? I think he does. Or else they wouldn't even be talking about Gabe Davis in media. Wouldn't even be talking about it. If they didn't think that defensive end was an issue, they wouldn't work out two former Buffalo Bills, Kingsley Jonathan and Casey Toohill. I know those names are, oh my God, pop off the paper at you, but they know the defensive system. That's what this team relies on. Because Sean McDermott's defense, when right, Sunday, a.k.a. perfect example. It's complex, but it works. And it works tremendously well. So calm down, relax, and go to Miami and whoop some ass. That's it. It's not hard. Okay, enough about the Buffalo Bills as we beat a dead horse. Just saving you, just trying to save you guys some breath or some finger cramps from tweeting on X so much about how bad Brandon Beane is. But now, onto the Oklahoma City Thunder, the defending NBA champions, are off to an undefeated 7-0 start. The Thunder are tied with last year's team for the best start in Thunder franchise history, despite not having, pardon me, Jalen Williams all season, Chet Holmgren for the last 4 games, Alex Caruso for 3 games, etc. And even with that, the Thunder still sit 7-0, the only undefeated team in the Western Conference. Maybe even, is it in the league? Maybe even in the NBA as a whole. I don't even know. I don't even care if I'm right or wrong there. But what is working for OKC? It is very simple, people. The MVP, playing like his usual self, averaging a ho-hum, for him anyway, 33.6 points, 5.9 assists, which I love, and 5.1 rebounds. Secondly, I'm going to spotlight a possible most improved player candidate, a possible 6th Man of the Year candidate. You better get used to knowing this name not only on this podcast, but as you watch the NBA throughout the rest of this season. A.J. Mitchell. It is not A.J., it is A.J.A.Y. Mitchell. Averaging 17.3 points per game, 3.6 assists, and 3.6 rebounds. All games off the bench for this young guard. And if you watched the Thunder early last year, you know A.J. Mitchell was in the Thunder's rotation from day one last year until he suffered turf toe. I still don't understand how you suffer turf toe on a basketball court, but that's here nor there, a different discussion for another day. But A.J. Mitchell is playing with tremendous control, poise, and deception, regardless of who Mitchell is playing with. He could be playing with Cason Wallace. He could be playing with SGA. He could be playing with Alex Caruso. So many different guards who can be alongside of him, and he just continues to produce night after night after night after night after night after night after night. Like, without this guy, the Thunder are not winning games. It's how good he has been, people. Which speaks to the continued phenomenal player development in Oklahoma City. Because A.J. Mitchell is yet another story as we wait Nikola Topic, who is unfortunately been diagnosed with testicular cancer as of last week, according to Thunder general manager Sam Presti, at just 20 years old. Very unfortunate, hoping for a speedy recovery, but he is the next Thunder development story to be like, oh, where did this guy come from? He's next. If he recovers fully, which he is expected to do so as of right now. And another piece of this roster that I really want to spotlight, and his name is Aaron Wiggins. No relation to Andrew Wiggins, as far as I know. Maybe cousins, not brothers. As far as I know, there's no relation there. But regardless, Aaron Wiggins in 7 games, 4 starts, is averaging a very solid 13.4 points per game and 4.1 rebounds. Being a steady 3-point shot, despite the Thunder struggling from beyond the arc until Sunday against the lowly New Orleans Pelicans, who are the only team without a win at 0-6 and lost Zion Williamson for the next 10 to 14 days as he deals with a strained hamstring. What else is new in New Orleans, people? My team stinks, and my stars hurt. That's the story of the New Orleans Pelicans. That is the story of the New Orleans Pelicans franchise, and has been for the last 5 years. But that is here nor there, as the Thunder made 20 of 48 attempts on Sunday, and along with the 3-point shot, Aaron Wiggins has provided solid shot creation, which has been much needed and will be much needed, especially when Jalen Williams returns, and he will play a critical role in the Thunder's rotation, along with who I believe will be the Thunder's rotation. I can name it for you. I can name the 10 right here, right now. It's your starting 5, SGA, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein. Your bench is Casey Wallace, Alex Caruso, AJ Mitchell, Aaron Wiggins, and that's it. That's your 9 to 10 man rotation moving forward. Because I must say this, AJ Mitchell has earned a spot. He is a top 8 player on this team, and it's not even close. It's really not. And I can't wait for that kid to get paid. I can't wait. Because he's going to be, he's earned it. If you watch the Thunder at all to start the season, you know what I'm talking about. That's how good this kid has been. He's been as good as Austin Reeves. And the only reason why Austin Reeves gets more attention than he does is, because one starts on the LA Lakers, the other comes off the bench for the defending deepest team in the NBA, the defending champion, Oklahoma City Thunder. And the defense is just as good as it was last year, which makes this Thunder team even better than it was a year ago. So the Western Conference, the NBA, the Thunder haters, a.k.a. Dylan Cunningham, Jacob Cunningham, Joe Gizzo, etc., who call us the flopping Flawny champion Oklahoma City Thunder. We're better than we were last year, and they're proving it. So get used to it, enjoy it, love it, because that's exactly what's going to happen here this year, and the Thunder are proving it as we move into the in the beginning part of the season. So, finally, we're not talking Phillies on this episode because there's nothing really to talk about. The biggest news, if you don't know, Dave Dombrowski called out Bryce Harper. Bryce feels quote-unquote uncomfortable, but who cares about that because that's over a week old. So, let's recap one of the best World Series I think we've seen in a very long time between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. This was the best World Series that I've seen in a very, very, very long time, as I just stated, between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. A World Series that people will not soon forget. Why did the Dodgers win a second straight title? It's very simple. One man, one myth, the legend, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It's that simple. He won games 2, 4, 6, and 7 for the Dodgers, proving that he is the best pitcher in the world. And if you don't believe that, you're an idiot. Because the best players shine when the lights are the brightest. And he won the Dodgers their second straight World Series. Mookie Betts didn't. Shohei Ohtani didn't. Freddie Freeman did not. Max Muncy did not. I could keep going and going and going and going and going. The only guy who put the Dodgers in the position they were in last Saturday night was Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and that is a fact, and it is undisputed. Yes, they got the timely hitting that Toronto didn't from Max Muncy, Will Smith, and Miguel Rojas. But the only reason why they're in that position is because of one man, the myth, the legend, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and that is a fact. Now, why did the Toronto Blue Jays lose this series? All postseason long, it seemed like the Toronto Blue Jays had some magic dust with them or something. Every time they needed a home run, they got it. Every time they needed a big outing from a starter, they got it. Every time they needed a big hit from a superstar like George Springer, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., they got it. Every time they needed a run-scoring single, they got it. Every time they needed a strikeout from their bullpen, they got it until Friday and Saturday night in Toronto. And they had a magical postseason run, beating the New York Yankees, beating the Seattle Mariners, led by, of course, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who had ridiculous, and I mean ridiculous numbers this postseason. George Springer, who was playing with half his body in the World Series. And Rochester, New York's own Ernest Clement. Yes, I'm not calling him Ernie. He deserves to be called Ernest Clement because he was that good in the postseason. He now holds the MLB hit record for a single postseason, people, from Rochester, New York. Ernest Clement. But the Blue Jays had multiple, and I mean numerous, opportunities to score in Game 6 and Game 7 against these Dodgers. Because, I mean, let's be frank, the Dodgers' offense in this World Series was absolutely non-existent, anemic. It was bad. It was awful. Okay? Like it just was. It was terrible. And like I said, the only reason why they're in this position as World Series champions, people, is Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I will say that till I'm blue in the damn face. Because it's the truth. It's true. It's damn true. As Kurt Angle used to say. But in Game 6 and 7, the magic dust that I was speaking of, it was like a sand... It was like sand in an hourglass, people. It just ran out on Toronto. It just ran out. I'm sorry, I know I hit my hand against my desk, and it made my camera shake. But, talking with my hands under here. And it resulted in one of the most gut-wrenching, most soul-crushing World Series defeats in all of history. Just like that analyst said on Sportsnet in Toronto on Saturday, I don't give a damn. The better team lost. He's right. The better team lost. But the player with the most talent carried his team over the finish line again. His name is Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the best pitcher in the world. Better than Paul Skeens right now. Better than Christopher Sanchez. Better than Zach Wheeler. Better than Shohei Ohtani. Better than Blake Snell. Better than Tyler Glasnow. He's the best pitcher in the world. Because the brightest stars shine when the lights are the brightest. And Friday and Saturday night, Yoshinobu Yamamoto shined like a shooting star, bringing the Los Angeles Dodgers their second consecutive ring. Yes, I hate this. I hate admitting this. I hate talking about the Dodgers in this way, but it's the truth. The only silver lining about this is that Clayton Kershaw, as he eloquently put it, one of the best left-handed pitchers we've ever seen in this game. He said, and I quote, at the Dodgers championship parade yesterday, Monday, November 3rd, he said, I'm a champion for life. One of the best men in the game of baseball, one of the best pitchers that we've ever seen is now a champion for life. And Clayton Kershaw, congratulations to you and your family. And I wish you nothing but the best in your retirement. But that'll do it for this 40-minute marathon of a show. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all on the next one. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And also follow me on all of my social media links down in a Linktree link down below. And I will see you all on the next one.